Survivor Series is this Sunday, and a lot has changed in the past 48 hours. And we'll go through that very quickly. I mean, as quickly as we possibly can, but still. For one, the Women's Survivor Series match has now changed. We're assuming that Natalya is the fifth woman for SmackDown, but it does show a empty spot on the team. That is because Charlotte became the new women's champion by defeating Natalya last night on SmackDown. So as of right now, it is Raw's Alicia Fox, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Bayley, who qualified on Raw the night before against Becky Lynch, the captain, Carmella, Tamina, Naomi, and a supposed mystery partner, which, if you look at the women's division, there's only two people that can be, or three if you count Nikki Bella, but I don't think she's coming back. We haven't seen her since WrestleMania, to be honest, so I don't think she would come back at that point. So it really goes down towards Lana and Natalya. And it would probably be Natalya, seeing she's the former champion. It would make sense to put her on there. But again, it looks like SmackDown has undecided views on who this fifth person could be, even though SmackDown has a very limited women's roster. And on the flip side, Raw's roster is also kind of limited as well, but they have more people than on SmackDown. Case in point, the last qualifier was a triple threat match. Even though there's 4 women on the roster, as we saw the releases of Summer Rae and Emma. So you still have Paige on the back burner there, but it's interesting. Just thinking SmackDown might not know who their fifth person is. If it is Natalya, however, I will go with SmackDown again, just based on, you have another veteran on the team. And even though there are some veterans on the Raw team, like Asuka, even though Asuka's WWE career is limited, as she's only been in NXT for the past couple years, but WWE have made her a force to be reckoned with. But on the same time, if it's Lana, Raw will win, just because Lana is she's not inexperienced, but compared to everyone else in the match, she is. So it just depends on what they do there. Speaking of the women's division, we have the new women's champion, Charlotte of SmackDown, facing the Raw women's champion, Alexa Bliss. This match changed obviously because of last night's SmackDown in the Carolinas, of Charlotte's hometown of, well, Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have Charlotte winning the women's championship from Natalya. It was a great moment. We also saw the return of Ric Flair for the first time in months, I believe, and probably the first thing we have seen of him since the Flair ESPN 30 for 30, which was taped years ago and months ago, and the first big thing we've seen from Rick since his health scare in a couple months back. So it's good to see him back on television. Good to see him back in some form or in some capacity, even though it probably won't be a permanent fixture. It's just great to see him all right and being okay, for that matter. As far as this match goes, I feel like Charlotte will win because she has a lot of momentum going in the Survivor Series, becoming the new champion. And this is a match that a lot of people didn't think would happen, especially with the brand split, but it's going to be a great match regardless. But I would not be surprised if Alexa Bliss won, just based on Charlotte won the title. There's not really... It's brand supremacy, it's bragging rights, but normally when the champion wins before a pay-per-view, she loses, so I would not be surprised if Alexa wins, but I'm going to go with Charlotte. The Shield will face the New Day. This was made 2 nights ago on Raw. Another cross-branded match. Pretty much every match except the Cruiserweight Division match is cross-branded in some way. And I feel like we've seen this match before. The Wyatts and... I'm sorry, not the Wyatts. New Day and the Shield. We have seen the Wyatts and the Shield before, but we haven't... I don't think we've seen the New Day and the Shield. It's an interesting match. I don't really know. This could go either way. But I feel like the Shield will win just because it's Roman Reigns and just because, it's his first match back since the little incident with the viral meningitis or whatever it was that also took Bray Wyatt, also took down Bo Dallas, also took down JoJo. So Roman needs to look strong in some way. So I feel like the show will win just because Roman's actually in the match. But I would not be surprised if the New Day win at all. And finally, the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match for the men. SmackDown's Shane McMahon, the captain, the commissioner of SmackDown, with John Cena, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Raw's general manager and captain Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and the returning Triple H, who on Raw kicked Jason Jordan off the team because of his injury earlier in that night. And Triple H will be the final member of Raw. The WWE COO will be in a wrestling ring for the first time on the main roster, at least since, I want to say, WrestleMania, and that's not including house shows, especially the recent ones where Kevin Owens was taken off and Triple H was put in, and including the India tour, which will happen maybe next month or in a few days. It just depends. I don't remember exactly the exact date, but I do know Triple H will face Jinder Mahal on that Indian tour, which has recently become a one-night super show. They took out the New Delhi show, which was going to be a 2-night tour, which is now a one-night super show in India there. But with that being said, with this recent addition, I have to go with Raw. Just because Triple H, we have not seen him in a ring since WrestleMania, and it'll be interesting to see what he does. Normally, I wouldn't be surprised if SmackDown would win, but I feel like Raw has it just based on the veteran experience. Sure, SmackDown has a lot of veterans in there as well, but you have a Kurt Angle, you have a Triple H, let alone teaming together for the first time in probably over a decade. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works, the Joe and Finn dynamic, and of course Braun Strowman being Braun Strowman. You can't really bet against Raw here, but I would not be surprised if SmackDown won. But I'm going to go with Raw. And with that, Survivor Series is this Sunday. And we have anything else, including the controversy of the 5th person in the women's match, we'll let you know.